right now we need to go ahead and have another. We want to have a title here, and then we can have a choice list. Like if you want to pick restaurants according to ratings, if you want to pick recommendations, something like that. So let's go ahead and do that. First, we need to go ahead and create a new component, and we have to give it a name, choices list. So this is just the same as the one that we created on top, but a little bit different because on top we are picking food, but below what we're going to do, we're going to be focusing on restaurants, not food. Okay. So it has to be a JSX file. In a JSX file, we need to create a component. After creating a component, okay, let's go ahead and create this component with style. After creating a component, the first thing that we need to have a title right on top. So we're going to leave this text here. Let's give this text a little bit of style. So for the style, we're going to go ahead and have margin left. We're going to give it a margin left of 16, not 116. After that, let's go ahead and give it a margin vertical. So it's MV. We're going to give it a margin vertical of 8. We want to create a little bit of space up and at the bottom. So that's why we're using vertical. Let's give it a font size. We're going to give the text a font size of 18, and we have to make the text bold. Okay, so this one should be font family. So for the font family, we're going to go with bold. It's supposed to be bold here, like that. Let's go ahead and save. So we need to hook this component to our home page. So right after this choices lists, we can just go ahead. After the category list, we can go ahead and hook choices lists like that. Okay, so we have our text here, and it's written as choices list, but we have to change the name to pick restaurant like that. Okay, let's make this 12. Okay, so that we can push it down a little bit. So right at the bottom, right after this text, let's just format this. After this text, what we need to do, we need to have a flat list. So first, we need to make sure that our flat list component has been imported on top right here, because we want to create a list, same as this one, but it's going to be a text list, no images for that part. And the data that we're going to be using is going to come from our UI data, this file that we have in our constants. So first we need to define the data, where the data is coming from. So we need the data source. So here our data is going to come from UI data dot choices list. So if we click here, our choices list is here, and this is the data. So if we click on the first component, is going to bring us to return restaurants where pickup is true. The second one, we're going to return 4-star restaurants, 3-star, and under 30 minutes, like restaurants that can deliver under 30 minutes. And here, if we click, we can just get recommended restaurants. Okay, so that's the list that we want to use. Right at the bottom of our data, we want to disable the horizontal scroll indicator. So we need to set it to false, and we need a key extractor. So for a key extractor, we have an ID. So we need to access the item, and from the item, we're going to use the ID as our key extractor. So here is supposed to be item.id dot to string. Okay, so we do have an error here because we're in a scroll view. This one has to be horizontal. If we set it to horizontal, then the error will be gone because we're scrolling horizontally. But for our page, we're going to be scrolling vertically. Okay, we're going to enable scroll, and then we're going to, let's have a style first. So for style, we need to have margin top. Margin top, we're going to give it a 5. Right at the bottom, we're going to render item. So to render item, we're going to require the item. So inside, we're going to pass the item first, and we need to have the component that we're going to render. Okay, let's see. It has to come outside like that. So in here, the first component that we're going to require is a touchable opacity. So let's make sure that this touchable opacity component has been imported right on top, and we have it. So we can just close. Now we have our touchable opacity. So we need to give style to this touchable opacity. So first, we're going to require a background color. So for background color, we have to do the same thing. We're going to use a state variable to change our background color. So we need to define a state variable right on top. So we're going to have selected just the same way that we did for the categories list. We're going to have selected and set selected like that. So here we're going to use state, and by default it's going to be no. Okay. If selected is equals to item.value, that means we're clicking on something. We're clicking on a particular component. Then the color has to be secondary. So we're going to use colors.secondary. Otherwise, the color is going to be colors.light white. Okay. Let's format this. So we're done with our background. We still need to add a little bit more props right inside. So we're going to have a height. We're going to give our component a height of 40. After that, we're going to give this component a border radius of 12. Let's give it a margin horizontal of 8, and we need to justify content to the center. So right inside of our touchable opacity, we're going to have a text. Okay, so we need to display the text. So the text is going to be item.name. So we need to add braces. We need to access our item like that. Right. So that's going to be our list. So let's go ahead and style our text a little bit. So here we need to give style to this text. So first we're going to have margin horizontal. We need to create a little bit of space on the end of these texts, because vertically we already have a little bit of margin, but horizontally we don't. So we need to give it a horizontal of 10. So if you give it a horizontal, we've created a little bit of space. That's exactly what we need. So here we need to go ahead and manipulate the font size and font family. So let's just go ahead and deal with the font family. We're going to make it regular, and let's change the font size. We're going to give it a size of 13 like that. So here, okay, we're not yet doing anything with our state. So here on press, let's pass an empty function in here first. Right at the top, let's go ahead and create a function with the name handle press. Okay. So if you're handling press, we need to set state. Okay. So we need to have a condition same as the one that we had, like we created in the last function. So if selected is equals to item.value, that means that item is already selected. The component is already selected. So we need to, the next time that we click on the same component, we need to set state to now. We need to remove the selection. Okay. So we're going to use set selected, and we're going to set the value to now. That's the first thing. And here, if the component is not selected, then here we're going to just go ahead and set selection to item.value. Okay, like that. So here, let's go ahead. Here we're supposed to receive an item, and whenever we are calling for our handle press, we're supposed to pass an item. Okay. Yeah, okay, like that. So if we select, then that means this state variable is equals to whatever value is being provided from here. If we click again, we're setting the value of this state variable to now. Okay. Okay. So here we're almost done, but we need to deal with the color of our text. So in our text component here, we need to manipulate the color. So we're going to have color here. So if item.value is equals to selected, then we're going to have our color as colors.light white. Else our color is going to be colors.green, like that. Okay. So if it is not selected, then it's going to be a grayish color. If it is selected, the text color is going to be white. And at the same time, we're going to require the same state variables that we used in the other component. Okay. So let's go ahead to our choice lists. So here we're going to receive two props. We're going to receive set selected choice, and we're also going to receive set selected section. Like that. We're going to receive these two. Okay, so we need to use them here in our handle press, and we're also going to use this one here. So on top, all the values are going to be now like that. And when we are pressing it for the second time, we need to set values. Okay, so for the choice, we're going to use item.value, and for the selection, we're going to say restaurant, like that. So we need to pass these in our home. Okay, so here we need to create another state variable with the name selected choice. So let's go back to our home. Right on top, let's just copy paste selected choice. Then here, set selected choice. We can just change this to choice, from value to choice, right? Like that. So let's pass them here. Set selected choice. That's the first one. The next one is going to be selected section. Okay, like that. So let's bring our terminal, our console, because we want to just log the state variables. So right on top in our home page, what we need to do, we need to go ahead and log selected choice. Okay, 4-star. That's the choice that we selected. 30 minutes, 3-star pickup. Okay, so far so good. Everything is working. We are going to move on to our restaurants down here, our restaurant recommendations. Okay.